I've tasted so many beautiful recipes for Bakewell tart, and this is my recipe. The key to this is really good jam, but we're going to poach it with some beautiful berries. So it's a little bit different. I'm going to show you to make a frangipane, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So the first thing we're going to talk about and get on is our jam mixture. I already have some done because it needs to slowly cook out. This is from Wexford Preserves. It's made with Irish fruits, so Irish raspberry preserve. And Tom and Laura, they're absolutely wonderful. They're based in Wexford, and I really admire them as a couple, as producers. They make their jams in open pot boiling, which I didn't know what that meant, so it's in small batches. So they would produce a lot of the strawberry, raspberry, the marmalade, all that. So they're really talented people, and they're based in Wexford. Wexford seems to be a great place for producers. So I'm just going to put this into the pot, and then into this, I'm going to turn up the heat here. We're going to put a little bit of water. I'm going to put some vanilla extract, so I'm just going to get it all out here. Okay, so that's that. Splash of water. And we're going to put in some vanilla extract. So I'm going to be using this twice, the vanilla extract. I'm going to put some in here, and while I have it open, I'm going to put it in here to my butter, which I'll explain. This is for my frangipane. This is for the almond paste. What I really like with raspberries is lemon works really well. So a little bit of lemon zest, and then a little touch of juice. So it gives lovely freshness. I think that's really, really important. So just a tiny little squeeze of the lemon. Juice goes in there. And then into this, then I'm going to show you these two beautiful recently launched products. Part of the Simply Better collection. So first of all, these strawberries. So this is from one of my food heroes, Pat Clark. So they're all hand-picked. They're called stem picking, and you can get them in the frozen compartment in Dunnes stores. These are just recently launched, and they're excellent. He's one of the best producers, I think so, for strawberries. They're the same strawberries that we use in the restaurant. And this is what they've done here, is triple berries. So his blackberries, his strawberries, and then we have Des Jeffers, which is another blackcurrant grower in Wexford, and he's wonderful. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick out some of the larger strawberries, just give it a little mix. These are great for a crumble, for compote. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I just want to get some of the fruits here, and then we're going to cook this out. So we are. So keep these in your freezer. Lovely for a smoothie. I should have said that, because these are picked when the fruit is at their best, and that is the key. And it really is hard to beat really good Irish fruits. Pat Clark, he's just a fantastic producer. So this is what it looks like. We have our base for the jam. We're going to literally poach this, cook this out, and you'll see it gets quite runny. This does take about 15-20 minutes. We'll see, it might be ready by the time we have we're ready to do the tart, but I doubt it. It does take quite a while. So we're going to cook that out there, all right? And then when it goes, usually what I do is hand blend it, or you can mash it up with a fork or a potato masher if you want to. And this is what it looks like. So this is completely cold. Because if I put this into the Bakewell tart, well, I'm afraid it's going to ruin the pastry. It really will. And the beautiful thing I've got to say about this will keep for about 2 to 3 weeks in your fridge. So it keeps really well, and it can be a beautiful jam over nice brown bread or toast or nice sourdough. Something like that works really, really well. Okay, we'll come back to that. Stir it every so often. You could put a splash of apple juice in there if you wanted to. You could put cinnamon into that, but I think vanilla and lemon is the key for me, and that's what we do when we bake this at home. So I'm going to show you the filling for our, the filling, I suppose, is the jam, and then the topping, which is for the Bakewell tart, is frangipane. So I have butter, which is softened. We're going to put in some ice and sugar. So don't worry about any of the quantities, because what I'll do in my Instagram and social media, I'll put up the whole recipe for the frangipane, for the sugar pastry, and for the jam. So don't worry about that. Just watch the technique. So we're going to just literally cream this. So remember what I have in here, vanilla extract. So using this mixture here, this is known as the creaming technique. You can use a KitchenAid. I have one over there, but I'm just going to do it by hand. And I've actually seen this recipe done with some caster sugar. I always like it with ice and sugar, but caster sugar is fine. Okay, so this is from Oko. This is some of the Simply Better collection. This is some of the ground cinnamon. So you see me using the turmeric, the harissa spice, and the mild curry spice. Oko is the name of the company. So roughly about half a teaspoonful goes in there. Now into that, we're going to crack 2 eggs. I'll just make a little bit of room here. So I'm just using 2 of the eggs here. And then we're going to put in our dry ingredients. So it's really ground almonds that I'm using for this. So 2 eggs in there. You can put lemon zest. This is some ground almonds. Into the bowl. Some flour. I've seen recipes that don't use flour, but I always put flour into my recipe. And then to make it extra special, some rum is beautiful. Or you could use some Cool Swan, or you could use some orange zest. So roughly about a capful of this. Now this, what I'm making here, frangipane, can be made well ahead, and it's lovely. I know it's a bit early, but it's gorgeous for a topping for mince pies. Amella's throwing her eyes up, we're talking about Christmas already, but it really is lovely and light. So you do your sugar pastry, your mincemeat, and then your frangipane. So just turn this low down and mix this all together. So this technique is known as creaming. Yeah, and that's it. That technique there is known as creaming, as I say, and it just combines everything together. You can smell the cinnamon, you can put lemon zest into there, you can mix it up whatever way you want to. I just want to show you the consistency. You can keep this in an airtight container, and this will keep for 3 or 4 days in your fridge. No problem at all. So that's it there. That's our frangipane. Done it in a glass bowl so you could see. You could do it in any bowl. I just want you to have a look just here at our lovely jam. So really what we're doing, we're kind of stewing the fruit. You're probably thinking, but why are you using jam, or why are you adding the actual berries too? This is the way I think you get the most amazing Bakewell tart. But you can just do this frangipane, sugar pastry, and that beautiful Simply Better Irish or raspberry jam, which will work gorgeous. But this will give another layer of flavours, of different tastes. So it's kind of like a summer berry, because traditionally Bakewell tart is made with raspberry jam. Sometimes almond extract is put into it. I don't put it into mine. This is some sugar pastry. So the recipe that I give you, I would recommend that you double the recipe. So all that's in it is just plain flour. We have some softened butter. We use some caster sugar. You can use some icing sugar. Icing sugar will make it very, very difficult, not difficult, fragile to handle. We have also vanilla and some orange or lemon zest or lime zest, whatever you have. I think I put orange zest into that. So I've made this. It'll keep for a week in your fridge, and also why I say double the recipe, you can keep it in your freezer, half of it if you want to. So it's always good to make extra. I'm a big believer of that. Your jam will keep. Okay, so what we're going to do next, so sorry, this is just a loose fitting bottom. I think it's about a 9-inch cake tin. A fluted cake tin, and I've just rolled out the pastry. It's raw, it's not cooked, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get our lovely jam, and that's why this has got to be cold. If you put this in when it is hot, I'm afraid guys, it's going to soften the whole pastry and it's going to literally break your heart. So what I like with a Bakewell tart is loads of jam. Sorry, I love the jam. Tom and Laura, they're just 2 of the nicest people, and Great Wexford Preserves is the name of the company. So I suppose my role with Simply Better is going meeting these producers, seeing how they make it, talking about the whole process and the ingredients that they're using. You know, they're using lovely Irish fruit, which is really important. Pat Clark stem picking, I didn't know what that meant when I was there recording a programme at Borbia, and he's just such a hard-working producer, farmer, and has a lot of people employed, and has the most beautiful strawberries, raspberries, blackberries and blueberries, but strawberries is what he's known for. So this is cooking away. Keep stirring it, because if you don't, it will burn. As simple as that. I'm going to give that another couple of minutes, and the next thing we need to do then is just to put our lovely frangipane. So kind of just spread this all over the top. So you have your sugar pastry, which is raw. Remember that, it's not cooked. Using the spatula, gone with the days you could lick the bowl. So scrape this all out. There we go. And you could use this, I suppose, sure, why not? Kind of just spread this out, turn it around. I'll just turn that down there. And then just go to the edges. Perfect. So turn this around. Now, so you have your frangipane on top. Usually flaked almonds. I am going to put flaked almonds, but I'm going to go another step further. I was kind of making this during the week, playing around with it, and I decided that I'd put some fresh raspberries, because they're in season at the minute, into this. So I'm going to show you this now. So just smear all that all over. If you can, just using the spatula, just kind of cover it if there's any little holes in there. Yeah, that's good. All right, so onto the tray. If you weren't here, I'd be licking that. Our raspberries. So we're going to arrange the raspberries. Going to cut them in half. So I'll just cut a few of these. Some of these are small, some of them are big. So we'll just arrange them like this. So if you, and just gently push them down. So my oven, if you can hear that, it's preheated at 180. Now, the one that I've already done took about, well, it actually took about 30-35 minutes. So for the first 20-25 minutes I had it at 180, and then I dropped the temperature a little bit. So you can just push these down here, depending on the size of the raspberries. And then what I really like here is, that's enough, flaked almonds. Some lovely flaked almonds. So see the way I'm kind of sprinkling them around the raspberries? So you're kind of getting that. So all just over here. And these are not toasted. These are just the flaked almonds. And this needs to go into the oven. So remember, the pastry is raw, the frangipane is raw, the jam is already cooked, and this is going to go in for about 25-30 minutes. It will, I think it nearly took 30 minutes. I have one taken out. So all I've done, just to recap, this is ready now. So Mel, if you look in there, you let that cool down, and all I do, just with a stick blender, just blend it. Or you can mush it up, it doesn't really matter, but what I did with that was just get the stick blender, something like this. Because if you blend it when it's hot, it's kind of very dangerous, it could scald you. Just blend it for a couple of seconds and it's done. Okay, so this needs to go into the oven. I have already one done. So check it after about 20 minutes. And then what I would do is, if it's browning too much, which mine was, so that's at 180 and that's a fan oven. If it's browning too much, what I would have done was turn it down maybe 5 degrees and then 10 degrees. Don't let it over brown. You can cover it with tin foil, I don't. So this is still not hot, but it's not cold, it's warm. So see the way that came out. Sorry, I done that really quickly. So it's a loose bottom tin that I'm using. I'm going to get my plate. Okay. And then we're just going to cut this. So nice, be generous, big slice of this here, and I want to just show you this. It's a nice big slice of this. So we should have a nice layer of that jam there. See that? That beautiful moist frangipane, that crunchy flaked almond on top, which is absolutely gorgeous. This will keep for about 2 or 3 days. It won't last that long, I guarantee you. We're going to serve this with a little bit of creme fraiche, which I think works really well, or you can have a little bit of vanilla ice cream, whichever you prefer. So that goes on the side, but that's lovely and tart and tangy. And then all I did here was just blend some of the frozen berries to frost them, and just literally blend them in the NutriBullet, or you can use the stick blender. So this is like a coulis. And then I passed it through a sieve. So there we go. And then the final thing for this, just quality control, is a little dust of icing sugar. Not too much, just over the top. And that's my Bakewell tart. I have wanted to do this recipe for so long. The really quality fruit, quality jam. Look how good that looks. You could serve that with some ice cream, serve that with a little bit of whipped cream with vanilla. I hope you try this recipe. I'll put it up on my Instagram and my Twitter and also on Facebook, but I think it's an absolutely delicious recipe. Happy baking, everyone, and enjoy this beautiful Summerberry Bakewell tart.